Picture a dog staring at nothing. Not at a bird flying by, not at movement down the street. Just nothing. Eyes with no spark. Body curled up on cold, hard ground. Bones visible beneath dull, neglected fur. And wrapped around his neck, a heavy chain he had been carrying for almost a year. That was Grandão, a name that means big guy in Portuguese. A name way too big for a body that seemed to have given up on growing, given up on waiting, given up on believing that anyone would ever come for him. But someone did come. And what happened next will show you that a single act of kindness can completely change the fate of a living being. This story took place in Ibaruba, a small city in the southern region of Brazil, in the state of Rio Grande do Sul. It was from there that a report of animal cruelty came in and changed this dog's life forever. A local animal rescue organization called Me Ajuda, known for their serious and dedicated work protecting animals in the region, received the tip and went straight to the location. What the volunteers found was exactly what the photos would later show the world. A dog in a state of severe malnutrition, bones showing, trembling, curled in on himself, chained, alone, in a situation that had been going on for approximately 1 year. There was no comfort, no warmth, no love. There was only that heavy, hollow stare of a dog who knew he was neither seen nor loved. Grandão was a mixed-breed dog, what Brazilians affectionately call a vira-lata, which loosely translates to trash can tipper, a loving nickname for dogs of no defined breed. And here is something really important to understand about mixed-breed dogs. They carry an incredible resilience. Scientifically speaking, they tend to be genetically more robust than many purebreds, with more diverse immune systems and lower susceptibility to hereditary diseases. Scientists call this hybrid vigor, but resilience is not the same as invincibility. A body without proper food, without shelter, locked in place by a chain day after day, starts breaking down from the inside out. And that is exactly what happened to Grandão. The neglect had gone on so long that he had reached a critical state, both physically and emotionally. When the rescue organization shared his photos on social media, the reaction was immediate. Hundreds of people mobilized, shared the post, flooded the comments with heartbreak and outrage. But somewhere in that crowd of people moved by his story, there was one woman who felt something deeper than compassion. She felt a calling. Her name is Angela Maris. The moment she saw those photos, something shifted inside her. And instead of sitting with the sadness of what she had seen, she decided to become part of the solution. The very next day after the rescue, Grandão was already leaving behind the chain, the cold ground, and the loneliness. He was going home with Angela. If this story is already hitting close to your heart and you want to keep following real stories like this one, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now and turn on notifications. Subscribe to the channel and keep following real news and real stories. In a video shared by the rescue organization, Angela appears beside the dog, stroking him with the kind of gentleness that only someone who truly loves animals can offer. And then she makes a promise. A simple promise, spoken in a voice full of warmth and quiet determination, that moved everyone who watched it. She looked at that sad-eyed dog and told him that in 6 months, those little eyes would not be sad anymore. She promised to show everyone following the story the transformation he was about to live. And then she added, with the softest smile, that in her house, everybody gets nice and healthy. Her sweet way of saying that soon enough, he would too. Angela's husband was right there beside her, and he summed up in just a few words what so many people watching were feeling. He said that human beings already go through so much suffering, so just imagine what these animals go through. And that a person without compassion for animals can only be described one way, as a monster. Strong words. But words that carry a truth most people deeply agree with. Animals have no voice to call for help. They cannot dial emergency services. They cannot walk out on their own. All they have are their eyes. And Grandão spent nearly a year showing the world his eyes, waiting for the world to finally look back. The adoption brought enormous relief to the rescue volunteers. They said that moments like this are what give them the strength to keep going. And in the comments, people could not stop responding. One follower wrote that yes, there are terrible people in this world, but there are also so many wonderful ones. Another left the message that soon he would forget everything he had suffered and spend the rest of his life surrounded by happiness. Grandão was given a new name, Guerreiro, which means warrior in Portuguese. And it could not be more fitting. Because surviving what he had been through for nearly a year takes a kind of strength that goes far beyond the physical body. It takes an inner flame that simply refuses to go out. And his never did. About 4 days after the adoption, the rescue organization shared an update that made everyone breathe a little easier. Guerreiro appeared lying in the sun, relaxed, with an expression completely different from those first heartbreaking photos. Angela shared that he had already developed a special love for belly rubs and that every time he saw her coming, he would break into a big smile and wag his tail without stopping. 4 days. In just 4 days, you could already see love doing its work. But recovering from severe malnutrition is not something that happens overnight, and this is important for anyone who has ever rescued or considered rescuing an animal to understand. Guerreiro experienced intense digestive issues in his first few days, which is actually a very common reaction when a malnourished animal begins eating regularly again. His system had been so depleted that it needed to readjust slowly and carefully. A veterinarian was called in to evaluate him and guide the family through every step of the process. Following that guidance, he began receiving 6 small meals a day so his body could absorb nourishment without being overwhelmed. Angela prepared home-cooked meals of plain boiled chicken and rice, alternating with the vet-recommended food, and Guerreiro started a treatment plan involving vitamins and medications to help rebuild his strength. Every single one of those details mattered enormously. Offering large amounts of food all at once, however well-intentioned, can cause serious harm to an animal in his condition. Patience in those moments is not just kindness, it is medicine. And speaking of responsibility, this story raises something that everyone watching needs to be aware of. Animal cruelty is a serious crime, not just in Brazil but across the United States as well. In all 50 states, animal cruelty is considered a criminal offense, and in many states it is classified as a felony, carrying significant prison sentences, fines, and permanent prohibition from owning animals. What counts as cruelty goes well beyond physical violence. Keeping an animal permanently chained with no shelter, no adequate food, no clean water, no veterinary care when needed, all of that can and does constitute criminal neglect. Guerreiro's situation checks every single one of those boxes. If you ever witness an animal in distress, do not look away. Document what you see whenever it is safe to do so. Take photos or video and note the location, date, and any details about who is responsible. You can report it to your local animal control agency, your local police department, the Humane Society, the ASPCA, or your state's Department of Agriculture. Every city and state has its own channels. But what matters most is that you act. It was one person's decision to make a report that saved Guerreiro. One person who chose not to pretend they did not see. Guerreiro will not forget what he went through overnight. Animals, just like people, carry emotional memories. The fear, the distrust, the pain, all of that takes time to be replaced by love and safety. But he is on the right path now. He has a family that made a promise to the world. That in 6 months, those little eyes will not be sad anymore. And some promises made with love are always kept. Subscribe to the channel and keep following real news and real stories. Have you ever rescued or helped an animal in need? Tell us in the comments what happened and how that moment changed you.